Hello guys, welcome to our today's class. I remain your tutor, Sir Josh. In our today's class, we want to look at ETL. We want to look at this concept of ETL. What is ETL? ETL stands for Extract, Transform, and Load. ETL stands for Extract, Transform, and Load. And it is a process used in data analysis and data warehousing to collect data from various sources, transform it into a suitable format, and then load it into a data storage system for analysis and reporting. So when we talk about ETL is talking about the procedure, the process of collecting data from various sources for the purpose of analysis or for the purpose of reporting. How do we collect data from these various sources? How do we extract data from these various sources? Then how do we transform the data? When we talk about transformation, we're talking about cleaning up the data. And then how do we load this data into our various database for the purpose of analysis and reporting? The first thing we want to look at is the extraction. This step involves pulling data from different source or system, which may include database, flat file, APIs, or cloud-based sources. The goal is to gather raw data from various systems, which could be structured or unstructured. Some cases it may be semi-structured data. We'll talk about structured data. These are clean data, data that are ready for analysis, data that are ready for reporting. But we'll talk about the unstructured data. These are data that come very dirty. They are not ready for analysis. The form they come, they are not form that you can easily carry out analysis on them or carry out a reporting system on them. So that is about the extraction process of the ETL. Now the next process of the ETL is talking about the transformation process. I want to talk about the transformation process. In this step, the extracted data are cleaned, processed, and transformed into a format that is suitable for analysis or reporting. Transformation may include activities such as removing irrelevant data. When you collect this data, there are some irrelevant data that will come with this data, which you don't need for the purpose of your reporting or analysis. So this process is the process where you get rid of some of those data. When we also look at the format, this data may come in different formats. Maybe you are bringing in data that has to do with date, and these data are arriving in your environment either in numbers or in other format that is not date. So you need to change this format to the date format which you want to use for your analysis. Then there are some data that you will bring in that contain things like duplicates. You need to remove those duplicates, and there are some that will be coming in maybe with missing values. And then there is need for you also in most cases to also do something like normalization, normalizing the data to remove all irrelevant data and redundant data. So we'll talk about the transformation process. The transformation process is talking about the process of cleaning up the data that you have extracted from these various sources. Now, the next step is the loading. Once the data is transformed, it is loaded into a target data repository, often a database or a data warehouse, or sometimes a data lake. We'll talk about loading this data. After cleaning up this data, the purpose of cleaning up this data is that you want to use them for either reporting, generating reports, or for analysis, sometimes to perform business intelligence, that is BI, or sometimes you want to train this data for the purpose of machine learning. So you need to load this data into the various environment where you'll be making use of this data. Now, this process is called the ETL process. There are tools that can be used for this process. To explain this process better, I'm going to use this diagram. Now, let's look at this diagram. If you look at the diagram we have here, let's say we have a superstore that is selling different products, and this store has stores located in various retail stores located in various locations. Now, let's say retail store 1 is located somewhere else, but retail store 1 are making use of Windows operating system. Retail store 2, let's say they are making use of Mac operating system, and you have retail store 3, let's say they are using Android operating system. And now you have another retail store, which is the retail store 4, and they are using the Ubuntu operating system. Then you have a whole lot of other operating system. Then in a situation where you find out that each of your stores is using different operating system, and there is need for you to pull in sales and other data from each of these stores to generate your report. Now, there will be need for us to have a system that will have the capacity of pulling data from these various operating systems. What about a situation where maybe your retail store 1 is gathering its data through SQL, while your retail store 2 is gathering its data through Oracle? Your retail store 3 may be gathering its data through Excel, and probably your retail store 4 is gathering its data through the cloud system, or through HTML, or through text-based and others. Now, when you have a system where data are gathered from various sources, and you need to bring all this data together to enable you carry out your report or carry out your analysis. In the other way around, the data may be stored in different databases, and you need to bring this data from various databases into a single database where you'll be carrying out your analysis or carrying out your report. We need ETL tools. So what are the ETL tools that we need? There are various ETL tools that are out there in the market that we can make use of. We have example of the SQL. You can use the SQL service integration service. We can make use of the Excel, the traditional Excel, or the Power Query editor, the Power Query machine that is embedded in Microsoft Excel. We can make use of Python. We can make use of R. Then, apart from these ones, there are other ETL tools that are out there in the market. For instance, IBM have their ETL tool, which is the data stage. We have also the Oracle. Oracle have an ETL tool, which is the data integrator. We have Amazon that have the AWS, and most organizations may decide to have their own customized ETL tool. So it all depends on the organization you are working with, and it all depends on what the organization really need. Now, this data you are bringing in from various means, from various process through your ETL process. This data may be for the purpose of maybe financial modeling, for the purpose of data analysis, for the purpose of business intelligence, for the purpose of machine learning, for the purpose of various purposes that this data will be needed for. So whatever environment you find yourself, as either as a data modeler or a financial analyst or a data analyst or a business analyst, or you find yourself in the machine learning, whatever, or deep learning, whatever source that you find yourself, whatever environment you find yourself, you need to have an experience of the ETL, because you may need to extract this data from various sources clean up this data and then load this data into a repository or into a database where you'll be making use of this data. Though in most organizations, you may have people, other set of people who do this for you, and all you need to do is just lay hand on the clean data and then make use of the clean data. But for a good data analyst, for a good data modeler, for a good financial analyst, for a good business analyst, for a good deep learning, for a good machine learning and others, you need to have good knowledge of the ETL. So this ETL environment we are talking about now, we are talking about those tools that we can use to extract, transform, and load the data. And we made mention of some of these tools. Now, when you look at this diagram, we have something like data mart. Now, why am I bringing in data mart here? Let's take an example now. For an organization that has a whole lot of data stored in the data warehouse or in the database, we have, let's say, the sales department, we have the production department, we have the HRO department, we have the finance department, and a whole lot of them. Finance department may be carrying out financial modeling or financial analysis on this set of data. Now, they don't need all the data that are stored here in this data warehouse. So it is possible for us to make the process very easy for them to pull the data needed for financial analysis. We can pull those data into a single database, which is like a single data mart. For the sales people, for sales reporting and intelligent report and business intelligence and the rest, we can pull their data into a single mart so that anytime they want to access their data, they don't have to go through the process of searching all through the data warehouse in order to get their data. And for management, maybe if there is production department, we can pull the data that has to do with production department into a data mart for the production department, such that anytime they want to carry out their analysis, they just go straight to this very data mart. And in the other way around, the data mart help in terms of security, because if you don't want those people reporting financial analysis or business analysis reporting to have access to everything in the database, you can as well pull the data into a data mart and grant them access just to that data mart that has to do with the financial business analysis or the production department. So after pulling the data to the various environments, from here now, reporting can take place. We have other reporting tools, we have other like analysis tools, we have others like mining tools that can take place from this very environment. So the foundation we are trying to lay here is we want to lay a foundation where you get to understand exactly what the ETL tool is all about. And from here, we'll be doing a series of other videos that has to do with data analysis. We'll also be doing a series of other videos that has to do with financial modeling. We'll be doing a series of other videos that has to do with business intelligence and business analysis. And we'll also be doing other videos that has to do with financial analysis. So thank you. If you have been able to learn anything from this very short video, please click the like button and hit the subscription button. We will be doing in the next video that we'll be doing practical work on how to extract, transform, and clean this data. For the next video, we'll start with Power Query. Microsoft Excel Power Query. So watch out for the next video, which will be coming up maybe in 2 days from now. We'll be doing a new video that has to do with practical aspects of what we've just discussed, all the ETL process we've just discussed. So in that video, we will be talking about extracting data from various sources. We'll be talking about transforming this data, that is cleaning up the data, and then we're talking about loading the data into the data warehouse or the database or a data model. Now, this is what we'll be doing in our next class. We'll be using the Power Query. And in the next class, I'll be telling you also why Power Query, why I prefer to use Power Query, why not even the traditional Excel, Microsoft Excel. So we have a lot to discuss there. Thank you. I'll see you in the next class.